After a month of grueling Counter-Strike, everything has culminated in this, the grand finals of the second CS2 major, Perfect World, Shanghai, Team Spirit taking on FaZe Clan, Donk trying to cap off the greatest rookie season we have ever seen versus FaZe on a miracle run that no one expected them to be able to pull off, Kerrigan searching for that all but guaranteed GOAT case certifying second major victory. Just like yesterday, I am coming to you guys live, not that long after the games have wrapped up. I still haven't gone to bed yet. I am starting to get borderline delirious, but I am taking the grand sacrifice to relate to you one of the best grand finals I've had the pleasure of watching. At the end of it all, after 3 maps of exciting Counter-Strike action, Team Spirit are the winners of the major. And now all there's left to do is talk about how we got there, and then eventually, hopefully, I will be allowed to go to bed. Firstly though, before we get too deep, I just want to give a huge thank you to PGL for allowing me to co-stream the entirety of the major. It was a ton of fun over on my Twitch channel, getting to meet so many of you who have been watching these recaps, watching the games live with me, helping me through a horrific sleep and work schedule. Being able to experience the grand finals live with members of my community was truly an amazing pleasure. So a special shout out and thank you to PGL for organizing that for this event. And of course, a deep, profound, heartfelt thank you to all of you guys for watching all the content over the last month. It's taken a lot out of me to be able to make all of these recaps, hectic schedules, tight timelines, but I'm very happy with the content we produce along the way, and I can't wait to keep recapping these tournaments going into 2025. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Before we get started, make sure you guys take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, so thank you for doing it. In the description down below is a link to our community Discord. I put it together right before the major. Please come and join it, hang out, talk with me, talk with other members of this awesome community. We got to do a ton of fun stuff during the major cycle, like running fantasy teams, talking about the results, and it's going to be a great part of our community going forward, so join now. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the recap. Now, because I'm not a fool, I understand how watch time works on YouTube. I want to start with some general thoughts here about the series and its outcomes before we get too deep into the specifics, because I understand that the Subway Surfers is slowly fading from your subconscious, and soon the dopamine-fueled zoomer brain of yours will need relief. You'll need to go to TikTok or play a game or do whatever you need to do to make you feel safe and comfortable, and I understand, which is why I'm doing things this way. Obviously, first and foremost, this was an incredible game from Donk. He caps off a fantastic tournament. To give you an idea of just how good Donk was statistically, he put up better stats than Simple did in his Stockholm 2021 major run, which previously was the most dominant individual performance at a major we had ever seen. Donk finishes this event with a 1.49 rating 2.1 compared to Simple's rating of 1.47 in the 2.0 system, which, keep in mind, padded a lot of those stats. So Donk, with a less forgiving rating system, put up a higher benchmark than Simple did. And he also outperformed him in all the other relevant statistics, be it ADR, impact, kills per round. He ends the tournament averaging basically an entire kill per round played over 14 maps. That's unreal. This dude is 17 years old. This is his rookie season, and he has redefined what it means to be a star rifler in this game. The ceiling feels limitless for Donk. I don't even know how to quantify it. He put to bed any kind of discussions about who the player of the year is. It's him. Rookie of the year, player of the year, major winner, major MVP. Put some fucking respect on his name. Another person I have to give my absolute respects to is Magix. He has been, deservedly so, one of the most criticized pieces of this Spirit core. He is routinely disappointed when Spirit has needed him at many points throughout the back half of the season, and honestly, throughout this major, he was mediocre at best. But good lord, did he pick a good time to play arguably the best series in his entire goddamn life. Right alongside Donk, he tied him for 69 kills of his own, 108 ADR, and a 1.58 fucking rating. Magix was literally unstoppable, as good as Donk. Meanwhile, everybody else on Spirit underperformed. Shiro, Zontix, Chomper, all well in the negatives, all well below 1.0 ratings. It was literally Magix and Donk playing 2v8 in a major grand finals. Now, I still hold that all of our criticisms of Magix as a player are pretty valid, but again, you know, ball is ball, game recognized game. He had an incredible game when they really needed it. For FaZe, obviously, this is a pretty heartbreaking end to the major. I know in a lot of respects, I think you could just say, well, FaZe probably shouldn't have been here in the first place. It's still a good result. I mean, they made both major grand finals this year. But just like against Na'Vi, there were definitely points where FaZe could have exploited the issues that Spirit were facing and easily won this series, but they just couldn't get it over the line. Frozen especially struggled as an individual. I mean, this is his first major final. It's going to be a lot of pressure on him, but he had an especially bad time on Nuke, a really good Redeemer on Ancient, and then just kind of a nothing game on Dust 2. Brokey, Rain, Rops all had moments of brilliance where they stepped up in big ways to keep their team involved. And yeah, you know, at the end of the day, Spirit were clearly playing with some different stuff. Donk and Magix were simply untouchable, and it is what it is. But, you know, obviously, with everything going on for Kerrigan in his personal life, the issues he dealt with coming into this major, you could see how much today means to him and how much this game means to him. And so when I see people still question whether Kerrigan should continue to be an IGL, I just don't understand where that's coming from. You see how dedicated he is to this game, how much he cares about being a winner, and it's so obvious how good he is at developing winning formulas, despite his own issues as an individual. The way he elevates the players around him is just so self-evident. And if there's one kind of, you know, good glimmer in the distance, is that even though this is truly a devastating loss for him, the way in his tweet pretty much right after they lost, he reaffirmed that this will be not the last chance, that there will be more attempts for Kerrigan in his career, makes me feel hopeful. Because unlike other people, like, I don't know, say Nico for instance, who have their own very nebulous futures with different projects, I am firmly in the belief that Kerrigan, as long as he wants to, as long as he's dedicated to the game, he can go to any roster in the world and be a worthwhile asset and elevate them to championship form. So I don't think this is the last chance for Kerrigan to get a second major. I think he'll continue to compete well into 2025 and hopefully the future thereafter, as long as he wants to. It will be his exit when he is ready. And for right now, all I gotta say to Kerrigan is thank you for what you do, man. You are such an important part to this scene. The scene owes you an incredible debt, the way you handle yourself, the way you interact with the crowds. You're not only one of Counter-Strike's greatest competitors, you're one of its greatest assets. And hopefully you can take some time to rest, hopefully relax, take time to mourn the tragedy that happened to you, and our heart goes out to you and your family, man. And I absolutely look forward to seeing what Kerrigan can bring to us in 2025. With that, let's go ahead and get into the individual maps here. We open up on Nuke, and after winning the pistol round, it looked like FaZe were getting ready to run off some early momentum on the T side before they ran into the Great Wall of Donk. Again, from the very jump, Donk is just such a transformative force in this series. He's out here with that Jormungandr Deeg, hitting people like his name is fucking Thor, just smiting the ops left and right. So instead of cruising through this anti-eco, all of the bodies start dropping in the ramp room, the USPs come out of ramp like a bunch of vultures looking for the leftovers, and Spirit are able to take control of this game, not FaZe, at least for the first couple of rounds. With the help of Magix going God mode in his own right, Spirit flipped that into an early 4-1 lead before FaZe started to make their T-side pretty interesting. Here we are on round 6. And even though it's a low bind situation for the FaZe players, it's pretty clear what the strategy is if you want to beat Spirit right now, and that's that you have to get Donk off the board early, preferably without him getting any kills, but as long as you can limit the damage and trade Donk fast enough, you're going to make Spirit sweat and force all of the other players to step up, and that's just much better odds than taking on Donk at any other point in the round. Of course, it also helps when you get a little bit of upper bomb site magic out of Brokey and Rain, who can navigate the situation well enough that you can win this round, but you get my point. And also credit to Chopper for nearly winning this 1v2 in the end. He had the defuse and it looked like Brokey wasn't going to check it, but crowd cheating. Crowd shouted immediately as soon as it looked like Chopper was going to stick. And, you know, we can all sit here and pretend that crowd cheating doesn't exist, but if you're going to be naive, then I don't know, dude. I have a bridge to sell you, I guess. The crowd cheating was all over the place at this major. It happened to pretty much every team. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know how to solve this problem. Outside of literally militantly policing the crowds, it's always going to be a factor in a game like Counter-Strike where the fog of war means that there's some information that you may know that the other guy doesn't know, and the crowd definitely wants that other guy to know. In the very next round, we get our first proper full gun versus full gun buy of the game, and Rain just reminds everybody why he's pretty much second only to Nico in terms of his dominance of outside on nuke. The way he navigates these tricky situations to find these picks is pretty much perfect. Wins the duel straight up with Donk by credit card, manages to creep over into Big Garage. Frozen and Chopper end up in a weird situation by the blue box, where Chopper does really well to get a double kill in this tricky situation, but Rain plays his timings perfect here, hits a nice one tap onto Shiro, cleans up Chopper for the double, and that leaves Shiro very much alone in a 1v3 trying to navigate it. Robs is of course on the lurk because that's what he does, so he's already creeping through ramp, and Shiro was able to get one pick for his troubles, but Robs comes through with the cleanup not that long after. An overall fantastic round from Rain to get FaZe that much closer to tying up this game. But they never quite could make up that deficit. Spirit always stayed just a little bit in the lead, and stayed just ahead of FaZe in very key moments. It was a 7-5 half, and with 5 rounds on the T side on nuke, FaZe were in a good position to make a run on their CT side. However, they couldn't win the pistol round. Dog goes absolutely nuclear with the P250. I mean, dude, again, I talked about this the other day, how Snax is 100% the best pistol player we've ever seen in Counter-Strike, but Dog really is not that far behind. I'm pretty sure every single pistol round in this series, he did something that was just straight up incredible. And the knock-on effect of that is what kept FaZe out of this game pretty much for the rest of it. That pistol round momentum for Spirit went from a 7-5 lead to a 10-5 lead. And yeah, when we get into the proper full buys, we're going back and forth. Both teams are kind of banting for control. The rounds are very close, but Spirit are so far in the lead that they only need to win 3 of these exchanges to close out the game, compared to FaZe who need to win 5 of those engagements just to actually tie things up, let alone banty for their own control of the game. While certainly reliant on Magix and Donk to carry them through pretty much every step of the way, Spirit strike out their grand final journey, taking a 1-0 series lead as we head to Ancient for the second map. And in classic FaZe fashion, they don't look very good on the opening map of a series. They look like they're about to get blown out. We get to the second map, and FaZe megamorph into the best team you've ever seen and absolutely destroy the opposition. I mean, once again, FaZe authored a nearly perfect, flawless game on Ancient, beating Spirit 13-6. Oh hey look, there's Romps, top of the server with 25 kills, 12 deaths, a 1.89 rating. Oh hey, there's Frozen, bouncing back from one of his worst games of the entire major with 18 kills, a 1.69 rating. Nice. Rain, right behind them, great impact. Brokey, also great. Kerrigan, again, best caller in the world. Wow, what do you know? FaZe, looking really bad in those first maps, but it's a good thing we play best of 3s and not that many best of 1s anymore. In a lot of ways, this was a pretty classic Spirit loss where, Donk was oftentimes on an island trying to give them some kind of momentum to get into these T rounds, but this was a different flavor of Spirit terrible because Magix continues his great performance from map 1, being the best T-side player for Spirit throughout this first half, but good lord were Zontix and Shiro terrible. I mean, absolutely nothing of valuable impact from either of them with a combined 5 kills in the first 12 rounds of play. It felt like Spirit couldn't win a full buy round to save their lives. It felt like the only rounds they were winning were miracle force buys, like here where, Donk, with a saved AK from Magix in the previous round, gets a fucking ace on a hero AK buy, and it's just like, dude, he's the best player. Like, I want to sit down every Zaiwu and Munzi fan and make them watch this ace over and over and sincerely look me in the eyes and tell me that one of those 2 guys has been better than Donk this year. And I will look at them and tell them they are a liar. But honestly, other than Donk and Magix occasionally being a raid boss, this really was no trouble for FaZe. A complete bounce back and an equalizer, meaning this grand finals going the distance. We're heading to Dust 2. And oh boy, are the fireworks about to go off, because we have so many fun players, so many great individuals in terms of their ability to take these duels. We're putting them on the Pug map, and we're just going to let them brawl it out. I mean, just absolute cinema from start to finish. And at first, It looked like Spirit were just gonna run away with this game. Once again, Donk, a freak on the pistol rounds, starts off the game at an absolute fever pace with the dualies. Meanwhile, FaZe couldn't find a T-side round to save their lives. I'm sitting there on stream, tired, delirious, and having PTSD flashbacks of fucking Inferno in Copenhagen beamed into my frontal cortex as I watched FaZe continue to fitfully try and go against this 17-year-old and his evil consort of teammates. And not to be a total goddamn nerd for a second, but I have to give Spirit a lot of credit because they varied up their CT approach so much here. I've been so critical of them just sticking Donk on the B site and not doing anything else to adapt to what's going on in response in the server, and then we pull up here to the biggest game of their lives, and Donk is absolutely everywhere. He's on catwalk, he's pushing up mid, he's holding long, he's in B, he's in your spawn, he's at the doctor, he's walking your dog, he's wherever he needs to be to respond to the attack, and that's really good from Hallie and Chopper. They are making use of the fact that they have a thermonuclear weaponized teenager, and they are going to unleash him to do their evil bidding, and they did it so successfully in this first half. And considering Romps pretty much fell back to earth, cratering out with a disastrous 3-11 start, it should have been over so much sooner than it was. We get into the second half and Spirit win the pistol round. They convert the first 3 rounds after and secure match point at 12-5. Surely, FaZe has nothing left in the tank at this point. There's nothing they could possibly do. These are overwhelming odds, and this time there would be no miracle to pull them out of it. And then slowly, round by round, whether it was Brokey with the op in his hands at one point, or Rops, showing that he can be one of the best secondary oppers I've ever seen. But bit by bit, FaZe started clawing back into this game. And obviously, a couple of rounds, you're like, well, you know, at least they're putting up a fight. It can't really be a comeback. But then you see Spirit looking pretty stressed, out of timeouts, economy running short, failing over and over and over again. And a 5-12 game became a 6-12 game, then an 8-12 game, then a 10-12 game. And suddenly things feel like they're actually possible. And there were 2 rounds specifically that had me and my brother Justin freaking out to the point that our oldest brother messaged us on Discord to stop yelling at 4 in the morning. Understandable. Sorry, Jesse, if you're watching this. 9-12 scoreline. Spirit are on a hero AK force buy, just trying to get by, see if they get a bomb plant down, and see if they can stem the bleeding. And in a flashback to Ancient, as we all know, these hero AK donk buys are the most dangerous ones that Spirit can put up. The play is simple. It's a contact up cat, group up, see what can happen. The flashes are going to come out. We're going to drop into CT with Chopper with the MAC-10. Brokey and Frozen, they combine to take 3 picks right away, feeling like they're going to stymie Spirit entirely. But then Donk puts down Frozen. Shiro dumps down to Elevator with the P250. He sits down Brokey. Then Donk swings around the top of the side and takes out Kerrigan. Suddenly it's a 2v2. There's time to plant. Rain and Rops trying to rotate in late. Will Spirit do the unthinkable and end FaZe's hopes and dreams on a miracle buy? And then Rain, he hits a satisfying shot on the Donk. Shiro in the clutch, one of the best clutch players all year, can't pull it off in the 2v1 swing from Rain and Rops. We're still alive, 10-12, but oh my god, is everybody sweating. In the very next round, Rops with the double op setup sits down Shiro mere seconds into the round, giving FaZe a huge man-up advantage and forcing Spirit to scrap for some kind of authority on the map. But as much as I've been critical of this in the past, this is some damn good mid-round calling from Chopper. He keeps things calm, he doesn't let people overextend, they work whatever until they got and see if they can drain any advantages out of FaZe's hands. But with nothing to show for it out of mid, they start to group up. It's going to be back towards a late long A hit. And the timing on this seems so good because Frozen and Kerrigan want to get proactive, look for that intel. Kerrigan flashes in Frozen. Donk is full blind, but Frozen can't get the kill. An incredible unforced error destabilizes the entire A site as Kerrigan and Brokey fall in short order after the Spirit players are swarming. It's Rain and Robson in a 2v4 to defend their championship. Donk on low health swaps to the Omp, Rain gets the first pick on Zontix, and then Rops out of nowhere with a jumping Omp no-scope on Chopper, strands the bomb, Rain gets a pick on Donk over the top of the smoke, and then it's Magix with a picked up AUG, takes care of Rain, tries to spray transfer to Rops, dinks him with the AUG before Rops fires back for his third Omp shot. Somehow the 4v2 man advantage evaporates in a second. And consider that when Long falls apart, Magix has the Omp that Shiro dropped in spawn at the beginning of the round, right? Donk picks up the Omp off of Brokey's body, leaving his AK in the middle of Long. Magix swaps to Kerrigan's AUG instead of the AK. If Magix had an AK in his hand and everything goes the same, that spray transfer kills Rops on the first shot and it's game over. That's how small the margins are. And the entire time, it feels like overtime is all but guaranteed now. How can Spirit hold up to this kind of pressure? But, to Spirit's credit, they stopped playing into FaZe's hands. In the very next round, they work out the map control. They don't overextend. Eventually, they keep it simple. Split mid-B push, one of the strongest strats on the map. The picks go their way. The B side falls. A desperate retake attempt from the remaining FaZe players doesn't work out. It comes down to Shiro in a 1v1, the clutch player himself, the guy who sacrificed everything to leave Cloud9 and take a chance with this roster, from absolute upsetting defeat, crying in tears as his team was eliminated only a short few years ago, to now winning the final 1v1 to hoist the major trophy. Spirit defeat FaZe Clan in the last round of regulation. And I already litigated my thoughts about the outcomes of this series at the beginning of the video, and I won't reissue them here to keep the video a bit more trim, a bit more concise. You guys are welcome. But dude, Donk is just different, right? Not only in his play in the server, but the way he just so calmly reacted to one of the greatest achievements you can get in Counter-Strike. He's done so much already in his first official year of competitive play, and he looks so comfortable while he was doing it. And that should be the scary part to everyone else out here. He doesn't just look like he belongs. He looks like he deserves to be there, that he knows he should be here, that hoisting trophies is what he was meant to do, that it's not just an if, but a matter of when he's going to hoist the next. The scary part is, he could get better. He is, of course, as we all know, only 17. Anyways, an epic conclusion to an epic major. Thank you guys for joining me along the way. There's going to be a lot of news going on for the next couple weeks, but I'm going to be taking a well-deserved break. Thank you for joining me through the entire ride. It's been a hell of a journey, and I can't wait to keep covering tournaments going into next year. Shout out to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Bubblesj, Milan Berta, Dr. Cocktor. If you want to support me directly, you can do so with the links in the description down below. It helps out immensely. But thank you for watching. As always, if that's all you can do, come join the community Discord, talk with me about Counter-Strike, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Ellie, you can't go outside right now. I'm trying to finish working so I can go to bed. All right, later.